What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Interview Studio at New York Comic Con 2024. I feel like I don't need to keep saying this because our viewership knows it, but I'm sitting with some of my favorites on the planet, cast of ghosts.
The feeling's mutual. So mutual.
We love you so much.
So happy to see you, Perri.
The new season is so good. I'll give everybody the proper spoiler warning. I have seen through episode 3 of season 4. We will be able to talk about whatever we want because this will not be released until that episode comes out.
Great.
I do want to go back though, because I have to ask you all about working with Mary. Oh my God. I'm curious, do you remember the very first moment on set when she said or did something that made you stop and go like, my God, you are pitch perfect for Patience?
I remember there's a part where I have to imitate the way she does the name Patience. We both do have to imitate it, but we hadn't shot the scene where we actually heard her say it yet. I don't think she had started shooting yet. And so I texted her and I asked her to like send me a voice note of her doing the Patience thing. And just hearing that, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. We played it for each other.
I remember that. And it was her doing like the double Patience.
Yes.
And I kept thinking, how is someone going to play this character? It is so hard on the page to like play that honestly. And she, in those 2 words, I was like, she is a genius in those 2 words. And then it was so fun to shoot that scene together and to work with her. She is incredible.
Yeah. I should make that my ringtone.
I was going to say, I hope you kept the voice.
I think I might still have it. I'll have to find it.
Who does the best Patience?
Oh.
I mean, yours is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
yours is very good. Mary Holland for sure does the best.
I was tickled by that the first time I heard her say it. It was perfect. I am curious though, how is that written in a script? Like, is it written with any descriptors?
Yeah.
The parentheses, a lot of her parentheticals were unhinged, insane. And Mary's like, oh, all right, I can do this. And it's amazing. But it just says, it was like in italics. And I was like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be.
Yeah.
She's so
She's
good.
so good.
I love
good.
when it's like a happy, like a patience.
Yes.
Oh, it can be a good thing too. It's so funny.
Her inflection all throughout is spot on. I loved it. All right, character specifics now. Brandon, I'll come your way first. I feel like I have a lot of relationship questions, but obviously things didn't work out with Nigel. And then I believe in episode 2 is when Nigel moves out. At that point, where is Isaac's head at in terms of a relationship? Is he not interested at all, or did he learn something from that changes what he wants out of a relationship?
Great question. I think he right now he's processing the sadness of losing this relationship the only way he knows how, which is figuring out how this affects him in some way.
And taking it out on those around him.
And taking it out on those around him. Like where he's, I think, so desperate right now. He feels so bad. He's had to atone for all the bad things he's done. He feels like in his afterlife and in his life, like he says in episode 1, he gets taken into the dirt. He comes back. He finally asks Nigel to move out. But then for like a brief moment, he like instinctually tries to like, make something better for him instead. And I think he's starting to realize, oh my gosh, maybe I need to be a better person. But he still struggles with that enough that like when he does become a better person, he's so self-aware that he's very excited about it. So I think he's on this journey, but because it's Isaac, it's going to take longer than it probably would a normal human.
I have many a question about how he defines being a good person that I'm assuming we will explore as the season continues.
Yes, I think it's for him, it's about slightly less selfish.
Yes.
I think that's where it would start. I'm sure
baby
it goes.
Steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
It'll
absolutely.
happen.
3 steps
At his own
forward,
pace.
2 steps back.
Yes, exactly.
That seems like the right math there. Sheila, I'll come to you with Flower now, because in this season, she is exclusive with Thor. How does that kind of define her season 4 arc?
Yeah, I think, Flower and Thorfinn have definitely been through a lot already together, and the honeymoon phase is kind of over, and they've gone through together some very normal things that everybody goes through in relationships. She's fallen in a well and disappeared, and then they had a throuple with a cholera ghost. So now they're at the point of like, what's next? How can we support each other? Because they're both going to go through a lot this season and dig up some things from their past and trauma and all of that. So they're going to be there for each other.
Feel bad for Betsy. She was booted from the throuple.
You know what? Nancy was a cool throuple mate. She is chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Nancy's good though. She takes Nancy takes care of Nancy.
Yeah, totally. She'll be fine.
I went through the Creep LA experience with her. It was the coolest thing ever.
We heard
And
about this.
She
Asher
like
told
brought
us.
so much like life and energy to that experience and heavily defined it for us.
Let me guess, she
were
was like,
delighted.
whoa. She like, that rules.
The entire time, which was like the wavelength that I was on, that my friend was
Yeah.
on. So we were all the perfect pairing for that.
Right.
It was incredible.
That's a great way to describe just working with her. Like she comes in and she is just the brightest ball of energy, and she's awesome.
I could feel it while I'm
Yeah.
watching your show. All right, Román, I got a relationship question for you too, because the last we were talking, I think you teased that it was going to be important to Sass in season 4 that he starts to tiptoe into having a relationship again. I have not quite seen any of that just yet. So maybe how does Flower and Thor's relationship, and also what happened with Isaac and Nigel, like redefine what he wants out of a relationship?
Actually, that's a really interesting thing to bring up. I can't dive too much into it, but I will say, there are dynamics that get explored that we've not seen before, especially with him and Flower and Thor. And so things with friends and love. And so we just wait for that. There's gonna be a lot. We're gonna dive into how Sass's relationship to love.
Sass is a heartthrob. We're all calling it.
He's a hopeless romantic.
He's too cool.
Man. He just wants to be loved.
I just see him on locker doors, like little pictures of him
Yeah.
inside lockers in high schools.
Tiger Beat?
Yeah, Tiger Beat
Wait,
magazine.
he's in the locker, like being thrown in the locker. Yeah. It's a little bit of in between of both, right?
I
There's a
will
little
say,
bit of
like,
both.
for this is me talking and also Flower talking, whoever he ends up with, they better be good to him.
I
And,
agree.
He's a catch and they got to be good enough.
I need good things for Sass. All right,
Yeah.
Rose.
Thank you.
I think this is from episode 2. It's a particular line that you deliver to Patience. You get mad at her and you say, well, with all due respect, Patience, it's not up to you and there's nothing you can do about it. I feel like I'm not used to your character being, I don't know, I guess like that intense and putting her foot down so firmly with another ghost. So why did that feel necessary in that moment?
I think patience is the straw that broke the camel's back. For Sam, she's just like, I've got so many people asking so much from me all the time. And this one who's like making the walls bleed, are you kidding? This is too much. I draw the line. So you know what? In some ways, thank you, Patience, for giving Sam a bit of a backbone, I think. And I think that's something she works on throughout the season as well, as she's continuing to try to genuinely learn to advocate for herself a little bit and for her romance and her personal life. I think she's very excited to have what seem to be some of her first friends, but at the same time, they do take a lot from her. So
I feel like it would be good if Patience was like doing the wall bleeding thing for Halloween and dressing it, but she doesn't like Halloween, which I learned. All right, this is something that I don't know if you're going to be able to answer, but at the end of episode 3, Patience says, now I must return to the others. Can you tease anything at all about what she means by the others?
I wish we knew.
The worm.
Yeah, it could be the other
worm.
worm named Patience.
Name Patience.
I feel like it's such a great open-ended
Yeah.
moment. I think we all have a million ideas of what we would like it to be, but wisely the Joes keep us out of that conversation because otherwise I think we could have a show run by a committee.
Or we could look out and just get like a free production of The Crucible.
Here's another question to end on that might be tough, impossible to answer, especially because I don't know if you've even shot these episodes, but obviously a heavy topic of conversation at San Diego Comic-Con was the fact that Jay is going to be able to see the ghost this season. Are you able to tease anything about how him being able to see the ghost changes the group dynamic?
Certainly changes the on-set dynamic because Utkarsh gets to play with his fellow actors in a way that he hasn't been able to.
It was one of the most fun things trying to, when you're working in an ensemble, I think the thing that we do that I love the most is that we really work through scenes. And when we're on set, we'll try to figure out like moments and beats and everything together. And that doesn't sometimes include Utkarsh, not because he's not a part of that scene, but because a lot of times like the rhythms will be on, two different sides of the camera.
Right.
And I will say like just allowing him to be a part of that process, it's just felt like so wonderful and new
100%.
and great and so exciting.
And getting to witness Utkarsh smile for the first time was just beautiful.
Because he got to look into our eyes. And he sees the sparkle and
He's
the
like,
soul.
oh, you guys have been doing this the last 3 years?
Yeah, it's really cool to see how he interpreted Jay seeing the ghost for the first time and how specific it was to each of us in a way.
And realities versus expectations, you know,
Yes.
like that's something I think that's teasable is people, you know, he's built an idea in his head of who these people are and what they look like and who they might be. And we get to see that confronted with the reality.
I love specifics like that. The fact that his reaction is going to be different when he sees each and every one of you. That's so cool. You know this. I could sit here and talk to you all day. I'm not allowed. I got to share the time. I'm going to say huge congratulations on season 4, episodes 1, 2, 3. I cannot wait to see the rest of the season.
Thank you so much, Perri. You're the best.
To everybody out there, keep an eye out. So much more coming your way from New York Comic Con 2024.